What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilkin. We need to talk about Wistoria episode 6, because, oh my everything, this episode was insane. So, legitimately, when you first drop into this episode, we knew what we were expecting, right? We were expecting the culmination of a fight here, and you had Will, our protagonist, that was kind of like, basically, between literally a rock and a hard place. It was... or really a rock and a hot place, because he has Sion, the dude who's like the fire wielder, who really like is just out for him. Like he just seems to just want to take him completely out. Like unaliving may even be a possibility at this point. And then you've got Julius, who's kind of... We know he's got it out for him, but he just kind of seems to be pulling the strings, right? He's just kind of like, guiding them into a quarter and setting this up so that there could be the showdown. And that's kind of where we set off. Now, before I get too deep into this, I will say, while this episode was really, really good, there were some points of the animation that did kind of leave me a little bit less enthralled as prior episodes. This is not many, but there's a few kind of jarring moments. So if I'm really going to start scoring this episode, because before we get into the full review, I think we should do the scoring. Not to jump topics like that, but I think it's just better to do it this way than just go in the full review. Animation-wise, and maybe this is kind of harsh, I'm going to go with a 7 on this one. Because there were some moments that I was like, really? That seems like y'all could have done better. It makes me a little, I guess, cautious, for lack of a better way to put it, going into the later part of the series, because it's like, this is what the midway point between most seasons, where it's like we're now going into the last half of the first season in a normal 12 episode season, and this is where budgets and all that could start to get a little tight, and time restrictions and things like that. These animators work really hard to get these out week by week. It can be a real strain, and this episode did kind of make me feel that way a little bit. I hate to say it. So if I'm saying a 7, you got to remember I'm saying like 5 is an average. So 7 is still a really good number. But the other episodes have been in the high 8s, low 9s. So all said and done, while a 7 isn't bad, it's a little more disappointing than other episodes, if I'm totally honest. But story-wise, I mean, it's a solid 10. In fact, I love some of the story elements that they kind of build into this. I already know Omori is capable of a fantastic story. I love Danmachi. He's become one of my absolute top franchises. And I'm not buttering up my audience. I'm literally saying, like, in the short time that we've had that franchise, and I've been watching anime for a very long time, it is one of my top franchises. Not the top, I hate to admit, but it is up there. So I know Omori has the chops. Omori can produce a really great story. So being a 10 out of 10 story does not surprise me. Absolutely loved it. I couldn't be happier with the story in this episode. Pacing, fantastic. Absolutely 10 out of 10 pacing. Sound design, once again, all the Foley was on point. The music was on point. Solid 9 out of 10. There were some moments that weren't bad, but probably, I don't know. Just being nitpicky, right? So really the only shortcoming probably was the animation. And when you kind of say that, it's kind of like in a live action movie where the acting is, the downside of a specific movie. It's like, well, that's the point, right? That's the medium. If your animation in an animated series is starting to fall apart a little bit, it becomes a question mark. But nevertheless, everything else about the episode was just absolutely next level. So, as much as I am nitpicking, it's my job to nitpick. So, let's get into the full review and just my general reactions to this episode so we don't drag this out for 20 minutes. Real talk, I thought this episode was going to go somewhere very different. We knew Sion was basically just... He was out for revenge. Like, he's He was humiliated early on. You get a lot of background with him. You find out that while he feels humiliated, I'm just going to say it, dude's an asshole. I'm just going to say it. I've known people like this, where they're like, I'm better than you, and how dare you, like, not, how dare you not respect that fact? And I'm like, go away. Just jump off a cliff already. Go away. Good grief. How are you going to come at somebody and be like, you're not as good as me, therefore you should be beneath me. And if you're not beneath me, and if you don't accept that, how dare you? Get out. Just go home. Good God, that annoyed me. So as far as Sion goes, obviously I can't stand him now. After this episode, I'm done with him. Like, I am through. I really hope he spends the rest of the series just being humiliated and or grows up. I will give him a lot of credit if he gets past this garbage, but I kind of don't feel like he will. He's just, obviously in writing and in fiction, there's a lot of room for redemption in these characters, and they are fairly young, but go away, man. Jeez. It ain't, I get to them, it's that serious, but it ain't that serious. Just, come on. Of course I'm rooting for the protag. That what they're doing is they're building a really phenomenal underdog story. That's exactly what this is. This is a classic underdog story, just really turned up to 11. Really honestly turned up to 15. I hated this guy. I absolutely hated him after this episode. And that says a lot. Julius was interesting, though. The ice-wielding dude. I expected him to have a bigger role in this episode, but I absolutely love what they did with him. So, if you guys haven't watched the episode, now is the time to stop, because what I'm going to mention here is a massive, massive spoiler. Go watch the episode, come back, because I love what he did. All right, I'm assuming everyone's followed my instructions. Let's go. That dude building essentially, I say familiars, but basically like ice golems of himself, was brilliant. And the fact that he's not just interrupting Will and Sion's fight, the fact that he's just out there being a menace to everybody and slowing everybody down was phenomenal. And you had the one elf dude that just flat didn't, he was like, saw right through it. He's like, you're done. Go away. I don't need you. But when you get to the end of the episode, you see why he did it. It was literally a stopgap measure. And they strolled calmly back into the arena, and when no one else there, all he had to do was slow them down. He got some brains. And I appreciate that. Well, we'll get back to that here in a moment, because Will and Sion they're going at it. And Will, being the smart dude he is, he's Captain Brains up there, he is able to go, okay, well, it's a Guardian, right? Guardian's got a core. All you got to do is take out the core. So they are setting this up. He's figuring out how to face down with Sion to basically defeat what he's bringing to the table. And Sion's got this Fire Falcon, and that thing is just wreaking havoc. Left, right, and center, literally, he is just all over the place. And end all be all, Will is like, cool, got it. Literally sees the pattern. Like, all he has to do is see it once. He sees the pattern. He darts through the flames, kind of like sidestepping the flames, goes up, shatters the core. The phoenix is down. I know it's not a phoenix, but it's kind of reminded me of a phoenix. It's down. And all he's got left are his just basic fire abilities. And as Will is charging in, can't remember old girl's name, starts with a C. Anyway, his companion, the one that gave him the gauntlet and the sword and all that, literally, as he's about to take a fire blast to the face, drops this huge boulder between the two of them and is like, what the hell is your problem? No. Both of y'all. Because this is redunculous. and I need you both to just chill. And, I mean, old girl's got a point, really. She really, really does. And this is when you get the whole soliloquy from Sion, like, how dare you, you know, blah, 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 this is my pride. Ah. I wish I was a carrot. So, I entertain myself. Don't mind me. So, at the end of the day, literally, at the end of the fight, basically she's like, dude, you got other places to be, to Will. And he's like, I really do. And that's when you get back to Julius, and Julius is going into the arena. And he's just uncontested. This dude is just strolling calmly in. The announcer is like, you know, who is it? How many people are here? It's just the one guy. Okay, well, I guess he wins. And this is like the most badass Marvel superhero level entry I've ever seen in an anime. Maybe not ever, but that's the exaggeration. But it was amazing. What in the Saitama was old boy thinking? Because he just literally comes down over time. I don't even know how he managed this. Like, of all the superhuman leaps over the entire arena, comes down, basically grazing the heads of all the competitors. Like, you can't tell me old boy's not a magic user. Because how the hell did he jump that high? And he just comes down, and it's amazing. And literally, I could just hear Deadpool in my head. Superhero landing, and he did it. Slides up, and literally Julius, who was arm's reach of the crowd, it could have just been like, what's up, I win. No, he turns around, and he gives it a goofy smile. And I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. And the best part is, you know that Julius could have just been like, what's up? And instead, he's over there, Captain Ego. Like, hey, my dude, how's it going? Welcome back. Glad to see you made it. Now we fighting. And it's like this. I love it, but I also am like, your hubris is going to completely break you, my dude. But I know I want Will to win, but at the same rate, it irritates me when these villains do like the most comic book James Bond villain nonsense. Like, you're right there, dude. You're right. Just reach out like this. Just reach. Just do it. And he's just like, nah, I'm going to put him in the laser. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to freeze. Like, no. No. But yes, because obviously I want Will to win. But no. Anyway, nevertheless, that's my panic attack. We're looking forward to episode 7. Obviously, I can't wait to see what happens. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, as always, and I'll be back with episode 7 next week. And, of course, we got other stuff coming up for the Don Crow 1st anniversary. If you're enjoying this, consider checking out Danmachi. I love that series, too. This is like everything I love about Danmachi, but in like a small, very easily digestible thing. Like, you don't need season after season after season after season of lore. But if you like, because, you know, I really appreciate a well-thought-out, well-planned story. If you really like that, consider checking out Danmachi 2. I really highly recommend it. Same writer, different artist. Doesn't matter. It's all good. I'll catch you guys on the next one, which I think I already said before. And I'll say it again. See you next week.